Hi everyone, I'm Joanne Lowitzer, and we've had a lot of questions and comments lately about people that have watched the show Disappeared, about my daughter Alexandria. And I just wanted to come on here and briefly talk about that. And first of all, I just want to say it's a TV show. Many of you also have seen the Last Seen Live episode from a couple of years ago, and that was I think it was just a 30-minute show, basically, even though we filmed for about 3 weeks. That was when we had actually gone to Ohio initially and filmed. Sorry. I hate doing this stuff. It's really nerve-wracking. But, okay, so I want to talk about the show Disappeared and just some things, some facts about the case, because every time we get interviewed, every time there's something on the news, every time there's a newspaper article or a blog about Allie, there are things that that aren't really conveyed. And one of the things, and I hate to talk about this, and I hate that other people talk about it, is the fact that me and John are divorced. I really don't think that that's relevant, in my daughter's disappearance, but everybody loves to say that we are divorced. Yes, we're divorced. Let's move past that part. We still remain friends, and we're still united in our cause to find our daughter. So, what else? Amber is here with me too, but she's not talking yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to share this. I think you're covering it. That do you want me to come up there real fast?
No.
Okay, you're good. The fact that that y'all are real people. Y'all have real personal lives, and just like 90% of Americans, y'all have been divorced, but y'all got divorced way before Allie went missing, and it's irrelevant to Allie's case. The fact that you're divorced has nothing to do with Allie's case or disappearance. It's I feel like it's misleading when people say you're divorced. Well, y'all were already divorced before Allie went missing. So.
Well, we weren't already divorced.
We separated.
We had been separated, and then finally, after Allie had been missing for a year and a half maybe, we decided to go ahead and follow through with the divorce. But anyway, a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. The show. It is a show. It's a TV show. Gosh, my mind is just blank. I apologize. I swear I had things I wanted to talk about, but oh my gosh. Really? I should have wrote this stuff down. I apologize.
No, you're doing great.
And anybody can post any questions too, because Amber's on there, and hopefully reading some comments.
I'm not looking at I'm just trying to share the thing. I'm going on it right now.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
I just get so nervous doing this stuff.
You need to address the fact that, in the show, that they just kind of emphasized on John and Mason, because that's what they do.
Okay.
They look
at the family
that's what we
first. Talked about. Right. Okay, so the show. Okay, so basically it is a show. The producers decided to air the part that John and Mason were polygraphed, and John and Mason were interrogated. Well, I was polygraphed as well. I do say that in almost every interview that we've had, but for some reason they choose not to air that. They want to emphasize on the fact that, the son and the husband, you know, they were polygraphed and they were interrogated. Yes, it broke my heart the way that they have been treated. You know, but you know, all of our DNA was taken. I was polygraphed as well. I failed the polygraph 3 times because I couldn't stop crying and shaking.
She has an alibi. I investigated her, guys.
Yes, I have been investigated.
I had to make a joke.
Thank you, because I mean, that part drives me crazy. But the questions that they asked me, you know, when they were being polygraphed, are just absolutely horrible. And you know, you're nervous and upset to even think about what's going to happen in a polygraph, and then to sit there and have to answer those questions, you know, about your daughter while being, you know, polygraphed and questioned, makes me want to tear up just thinking about it again. But
But it happens to everybody that has a missing kid. They look at the family first.
it does. Amber was just telling me that it happens to every family, and it I wouldn't have what's wrong? Oh, the show touched on you know, how you know, the investigation was going as far as law enforcement, and then law enforcement, you know, kind of turned the tables and started looking at the family when the homicide department took over. And you know, unless it's happening to you, you don't really realize you know, what actually the law enforcement has to do in order to start their investigation. And you know, families that have gone through the same thing, you know, I don't know how to describe it. It's it is literally, you know, it's traumatizing. It's part of your worst nightmare. You know, to be, you know, looked at like you're a suspect in your daughter's disappearance.
Meanwhile, your child's missing, and you're in a rush to find her.
Yeah, yeah. You want to come sit up here?
Sorry, I just know what you're trying to say.
I know. Amber knows what I'm trying to say, but it just, my brain is not communicating with my mouth, and I apologize for that. I didn't get very much sleep last night because I did rewatch the show again, and it was like reliving it all over again. You know, I cried again, and you know, because some of those videos that they showed, you know, I hadn't seen in several years, and so that always touches me.
Want me to come in?
Come on, Amber. I need some help. Come dying.
I always have too much to say. I think what Joanne's trying to say, actually I'm pretty sure I know what she's trying to say, is the fact that it's hard to, when something traumatizes you so bad, you're already traumatized, your daughter's missing, you're in a rush to try to find her, and having to live through those memories, and the fact that she has to see it on TV, the fact that the way police question them. I mean, could you imagine if your daughter's missing, you were like, Joanne was at work, and how easy is it to prove that somebody was at work, yet they hold you in interrogation for 10, 12 hours because they don't want, I don't know what they want to do or their motive with that was, but they find out later, you know, hey, everybody has an alibi. I don't know if it was, you know, official oppression, if you ask me, but I have a very strong opinion on things. Let's just say that's traumatizing, and I know that it happens to everybody. A lot of parents, once it moves past the runaway stage, the police immediately go and start questioning them. I mean, there's probably some that can join in on this chat, of parents that have had runaway kids that they've been accused of killing their kids, and their kids come home later, whether they're a trafficking victim or runaway or whatever, They've literally told them that. So, I mean, it's just mortifying. It's traumatizing. It's, re-victimizing. I mean, you can go on and on. I mean, her child missing is her worst nightmare, but having no help, I think, is even worse. And at that time, that's, you think she's desperate to find her child. I mean, she's still desperate to find her child, and yet you're stuck in a little room and they're pointing fingers at you. So, anyways, that's why the show, I think, is hard for her. I mean, it was hard for me to even sit back and listen to it, and I wasn't there at the time. It's a lot of hurt feelings, So, beyond hurt feelings. I mean, bottom line, Allie's still missing. And the show went over things like Brandon Laverne. Okay, Brandon Laverne was like, actually, that's when I come onto the case. Is when I contacted him. First off, he did not have a white truck at the time. He had a green truck. When Allie went missing in 2010, his truck was green. But he had a rock-solid alibi. So, I mean, all the other stuff about Mickey Shunick and Brandon Laverne, I mean, it's irrelevant to the situation. That's not a fact. He's not a factor in this case at all.
No.
It was a media explosion. Anyways, hold on, I'm going to read this comment. Okay, never mind. Sorry. This is something else. So it's and, people make comments, I've seen them about, oh, well, they want to believe it's Brandon Laverne, because Brandon Laverne, would make sense. I mean, first off, in a missing persons case, I mean, nothing ever is just that in front. Oh, white truck, partial plates, let's put, that's a little far. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a case where, I mean, have you? I mean, it's
no.
Yeah, that
well,
even
I wanted to believe it was Brandon Laverne, at the time, what is that saying? Guilty until proven innocent instead of innocent till proven guilty. I mean, when your kid's missing, I mean, everybody is going to be guilty, and, it took me a while to believe that he didn't have anything to do with it, because everything was just so coincidental. Him having family, that live close, and this person saying a white car or a white truck, and this person saying a green truck, and what he actually had and where he actually was. And so, we were really trying to put those pieces of the puzzle together, but they just didn't go together.
Yeah, at all. And, but, like I said, in the media went with it. I mean, but they only went with it because it's drama, and what a cool story is what they're thinking. Oh, I could, bust this crazy serial killer, that's going back and forth from Louisiana to Texas. That's not true. He was not in the area. Now, does he have other bodies behind him? Probably. But it's not Allie Lowitzer, It's like we can actually prove that. He was nowhere in the area. Would have been impossible for him to do it, so... I don't know why they want to emphasize, actually I do know why they want to emphasize it, because it's TV. So TV, the Shining serial killers, the right in front of you stuff, I mean, that stuff sells, ratings, drama, that's, what they're after. Mm-hmm. Just like when the very first show we did, Last Seen Alive, I'm in there, and I'm like, there was a part in there, and everybody still to this day comments, and I cringe every time I hear it, and I've never really acknowledged it, but there's a part where I said I found her when I was going undercover. I wasn't referring to her.
Yeah, so back up just a little bit. So we were filming. We were in a rented minivan. Me and John and the film crew were waiting while Amber and the other girl go out to make contacts. And they come back to the van and get in. Amber says, I found Allie. And I said, you mean Ohio Allie? And they cut that part out.
Yeah.
So when that show came out, I mean, we were blasted with comments and questions about, why did you found Allie? Why did you leave her there? Why did it take so long, for Amber to go back? Why this and why that and why that? Well, Amber will explain more of that.
Okay. Well, first off, like she said, it's Columbus. This Columbus Alley is what we refer to as Columbus Alley, and that 30-minute, or I think 30-minute to an hour episode, I don't remember. I mean, it took weeks. That was weeks of filming, multiple trips to Ohio, and there was undercover work involved. If you watched the show, you saw it. And it was legitimate undercover work. It like wasn't, you know, the police were involved and everything else. I was posing as a prostitute, but you know, sometimes when you're filming for weeks, you forget you have these mics on underneath your clothes, and you know, I come to the car just, you know, I'm a spaz, you know, like, oh, I found her.
Yeah, she is.
You know, of course, you know, if you're in the AB Converse, kind of in our little group, you would have, you know, known that I was referring to the girl that we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But even I couldn't have grabbed her, even if it was Allie, to be honest with you. If you really go back and watch the show, I mean, you can see that it looks like a little apartment building. The apartment there, I don't know, it was like a little duplex with 4 units. But the pimps and drug dealers owned the entire unit. It was armed. I had to walk. I was patted down when I went in there. I actually wore a flesh-colored piece to get in this house, and you were told where to go. You had to look at the ground. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm no match for, you know, like 2 dudes with semi-automatic weapons, and it's a trap house, and there's no way where to run. So it's like it would have got me and the girl and Bob killed. So the fact that the Discovery Channel, I've always, I'm gonna be honest, it's just pissed me off that they would ever put that in there. Like Joanne said, she acknowledged it, corrected my wording. She was thinking more. I really wasn't. I was.
Yeah, but the producers decided to cut that part out and just show the part
Just to
where,
show
where
drama.
Amber says, "I found Allie," and
Yeah.
when we watched the show, my jaw dropped, and I was like, "We did not find Allie. Our Allie. We found the other Allie."
Yeah, the other Allie. Yeah. So, anyways, I meant Columbus Alley, so I just wanted to acknowledge that. So obviously Allie's still missing. Obviously she's been missing. That was a while back, but that's just something that we've heard over the years, and we've never acknowledged it. Okay, but now it's coming back up again since the new show. So yeah, we've worked a lot in Columbus, and we've worked everywhere. There's been leads everywhere, and you know, so just to let you know, that's where that came in. And don't believe everything you hear on TV. But how about let's name a few facts on her case. Want to name the facts?
Oh gosh, quiz time. Well, the number 1 fact, Allie is still missing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Number
her
2,
parents and family are ruled out as suspects. They're not suspects. You know, so bottom line, they were nowhere in the picture. Yeah, Brandon Laverne, actually, he's sitting in prison, but he's not a suspect either.
No.
It was impossible for him to do it. So that's not even, these aren't even factors in the case. They're not even facts if you ask me, so I don't even know why they aired it. Joanne's divorce didn't kill or make her daughter go missing. Her divorce had nothing to do with it. She just is simply a divorced person, like a lot of America. Like me. Let me raise my hand.
I'm a statistic.
Yeah. Actually, I think the majority are like, you know, divorced now. I don't even think it's
Well, it's. I mean, even if me and John weren't separated and divorced, I don't know how a relationship would survive anyway. It's very stressful. You know, you live.
Well, it's irrelevant. I mean, you have a personal life, and you're okay to that.
I don't have a personal life, really.
Well, pretty
Allie,
case, yeah,
Allie
that's
is
true.
Allie is. I eat, sleep, drink, and breathe and dream Allie, and you know, I feel fortunate that my office, they let me show up every day and they send me a paycheck. Not really. I love my job, but they're very understanding when it comes to stuff for Allie. So yeah.
So, then what else did they acknowledge on there? So we've already acknowledged Brandon Laverne that. Sorry, I had to walk out whenever. Oh yeah, no, but we can. And facts are the facts of this case are that Allie's missing. Like I said, most importantly, we raised so much awareness because nobody has helped. Really, law enforcement side, with Allie being missing. It stopped at them questioning the family.
Yeah.
We have very strong tips, leads, that need to be addressed by, on the law enforcement side. You know, there's certain things on the private investigator side that I can't get, but
There's only so much that Amber can do.
come
with
hell or
the
high water, I may
information.
do it. You know, we may eventually get there, you know.
That'll be another TV show.
But we may get there, but there are certain things like, okay, this is one thing that I don't think we've told different movie crews and the film crew, but they haven't said it. But Allie had an email address that was open after she disappeared. We've leaned hard towards the trafficking because Allie was in communication with the phone number that comes back to an escort service in Las Vegas, Nevada. Her email address 6 weeks after she went missing, was opened up in Las Vegas, Nevada, using the password. It wasn't a hack, wasn't a reset. This email address. This email address was created using the cell phone that went missing with her. She got that cell phone in December for Christmas. She hadn't had it that long. Well, this email was created at that time. But the phone never came back on. Her cell phone had a tracker, and this tracker would still track if the battery went dead. It's another fact. So whoever, took her knew what they were doing. They knew to take the battery completely out or, lock it, have some kind of like law enforcement lock code to block all signal, from the cell phone, because even if she was to power it down, it still would have pinged. So that's, kind of an important information to know, She never walked back towards her house. She was walking back towards Cypresswood. I think that was another thing, right here in this, in this neighborhood, it's a working class subdivision. Everybody works during the day. So when kids get off the bus, the school bus in the afternoons, it's eerily quiet in this neighborhood in the broad daylight. Literally, you can take somebody, and I've sat there for hours thinking the same thing, in these spots and seeing kids get off the bus and realizing somebody could snatch somebody, you could scream, and there would be no one around to hear. It's a very small neighborhood.
I can walk outside in my PJs and go check the mail and not see anybody.
Yeah, it's filled with people that work, go to bed either at 8 o'clock and gone at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they, still working, or the retired people that, can barely walk and aren't out in their yards at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not saying barely walk. So if anybody from the neighborhood's watching, I'm not talking about you.
Don't talk about my mom like that.
Well, your mom's outside too, so... Anyway, so there's been comments, Joanna mentioned one the other day about, it was broad daylight, how did no one see anything? Well, that's how no one saw anything, because you got a little small section here, it's like a dark hall. But,
well, there was 3 people that saw things. There was the 2 boys that got off the bus with Allie, and then there was the girl that had drove home from school that was on the other block that also said that she saw Allie get off the bus and then turn out of the neighborhood.
Correct. Yeah, but the way no one saw anything is when you get out in the neighborhood, there's that blank section.
Yeah.
There's also no
Nothing.
houses
Yeah.
where her cell phone pings. So, and I think another important factor to this case is that it needs to be acknowledged is the fact that Allie was a 16-year-old girl that sent 3,000 text messages. Was it 4? Okay,
4,000.
she's worse than me.
Yeah.
That a month. She was. Okay, I'm going to give you my outsider opinion. She was kind of, spoiled. I don't think anybody was going to take her phone from her. I think she would have, like any other 16-year-old kid, if someone said, hey, give me your phone, or turn your phone off, she would have said, to hell with you. Kind of, not really those words, those are my words, but she was a very nice kid, like I said, like a lot of 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
I really, so that tells me that I believe that she had to do it out of fear, that somebody either took that phone from her at force, or she was made to get in a vehicle because there was some kind of threat there, and she obeyed, bottom line. She was also in the midst of a text conversation asking a friend to come over and planning a party. And for like that afternoon, that it was just in the midst of that text conversation. Actually, it was like multiple text conversations, that she's talking to all these friends. She very much had plans, and she didn't respond. So whoever this was, whatever it was, I don't believe that she was expecting it. And I don't believe that she completely got into a car completely willingly, And so,
yeah, the only thing that makes sense in my mind is that, she got off the bus, her intentions were to walk to work, and something happened. Somebody must have come by with the vehicle, maybe somebody that she knew, and they said, oh, I'll give you a ride to work, or, well, let's go do this. If it was a friend that she trusted, yeah, she would have gotten in the car. A stranger, I don't think that she would have completely gotten in a stranger's car unless she felt threatened with her life, basically. I would like to think that Allie would kick and scream and fight, but when it comes down to it, you never know exactly how you're going to react. So, you know, I struggle with that internally, if I think Allie would fight or not.
Oh, I mean, like she said, we never know how we're going to act in that situation, especially a 16-year-old kid. And that's where it comes in that anybody can be Joanne. Talk to your kids and tell them that I don't care if someone puts a gun up to their head and says, get in the vehicle. Tell them to scream, yell, and fight. You fight because if they're going to, I mean, I know this sounds horrible, but you know what, they're better off. If this person's gonna shoot them, they would shoot them right there. It's probably better than taking them, and Lord knows what happened afterwards. But 90% of the time, it would, you know, statistics show it just scares the person off, and they're, you know, you're safer screaming and yelling, like I said, even if they have a weapon. And so, chances are they're gonna run. So, I mean, talk to your kids and make sure you instill that in them, that no matter what, fear. You know, if you ever listen to me about one thing, because you know teenagers don't listen, is, you know, you run, you scream, no matter what. No matter if there's a gun there. Because, you know what, they'll do way worse things to you when you go with them. And, you know, leave the evidence. Do not follow the rules. Because, you know what, and this is another thing. Perpetrators want someone submissive. They thrive off the fear. You know, it's like a rush for them. Don't give them the fear. Tell your kids to be bossy. Tell your kids to have an opinion. If someone's hurting them or if you know, they're fearing something, you scream and yell. You know, you're better safe than sorry. And, you know, or you could end up like Joanne one day.
Yeah, the only advice I can say is don't be like me. I used to live in my own little bubble. You know, I had my family, my job, and, you know, that was it. You know, we were happy.
Can I correct you? It's okay to be like you. You're an excellent mother. Like, I have to say that. You know, it's bottom line. You don't know what you don't know. And if you, it's like a baby. I mean, you only know what you're taught and what you've learned. What
Exactly.
was presented to you. And
yeah.
Did you ever know of any other missing person?
No, I never knew any other missing persons. And see, for me, you know, that's where I went wrong. I don't watch the news a lot. And if I would have saw, you know, I've seen missing persons on TV before Allie went missing, but I thought, gosh, you know, that's so sad, but there's nothing I can do. And then I'd go about my day, or I'd turn the channel to something else that wasn't so depressing. But, you know, what I want to say is, yes, it's depressing, but it is so important just to be aware, you know, especially for missing people in your own hometown or your home area. You know, I'm a member of Texas Echo Search now, so, you know, I am honestly more aware now, you know, than, you know, I was at the beginning when Allie went missing. You know, I eat, breathe, and sleep missing people. You know, it's honestly, it's become an obsession of mine to try to keep up with all the local cases, and it's maddening that the amount of people that go missing. You know, you see it on the news, and then you never hear anything ever again. You never hear if they're found. You never hear if they went home safe. You know, it's like there's no follow up sometimes. So, and that part kind of drives me crazy. But you know, but there's so many other families out there that need the attention and need, you know, people like you to look at the missing persons' faces, and just like you do Allie's.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because our police department's political. They only acknowledge, just like TV like ratings, our police department like ratings too. So the more you acknowledge missing persons by sharing a flyer, hell, that's tremendous. Showing up to an event, the more they fear, and the more apt they are to work this and work it right. Julie asked a question. So an email was sent. No, on that we spoke about the email a while ago that Allie had an email address that was opened up. It was logged onto from a computer in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that's what we know. There was no email sent, but there was a login. You know, you can go to login history and stuff like that. So, but nothing was sent. I don't know what they did on there. You know, that's one of the things that we need a court order to get, because we're not law enforcement, y'all who don't want to, release the actual, meat and potatoes of the information. I don't have the address on it.
Yeah. And we've given this information to the detective on the case, and as far as we know, nothing has been done. And that leads me to another thing. Somebody did send a message to the page last night saying that they tried to reach law enforcement and they were told to call back, or that they couldn't leave a message or something. But please, if anybody has any information, you can send us a message here. You can send an email through Allie's website, which is alexandrialowitzer.com. And, it comes to me, and it comes to John, and it comes to Amber. It doesn't go to law enforcement. And if you're afraid to send us any information, God knows I will keep you anonymous. All we want is for us to find Allie and have her come home, and for all of this nightmare to be over. So if you feel like, you're going to get in trouble for the information you have, I could care less. I just want my daughter home.
That's the difference between our goal and law enforcement's goal. Law enforcement's goal is to always get a conviction, and which is hard with missing persons. And homicide case to get it. That's why they don't get as much attention as what they should. But a lot of there's not a lack of resources legitimately in our communities. But our goal is to find Allie. It's the conviction part can come later, maybe whatever. But that's not our goal. Ultimate goal is to know the truth, know where she's at. No matter what the conviction is, that are alive. I know that sounds crazy and morbid or whatever. We want her home. It's better than the unknown. So that's one thing. I'm seeing other comments that we're not opposed to it. But there has been nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I've tried to look for it that tells me that this is a homicide case. It's not a homicide case. There's no evidence of homicide as of yet. I'm at minus a time frame, but you can go back and look through history. There's so many that have been missing for so long. So, until you show us evidence of a crime scene, we're going to look for, in a live Allie. But at the same time, we will acknowledge any and every tip. We're going to, unturn every, we thoroughly go through absolutely everything, even if we know it's bogus when we open it up. Let's put it that way. And no one will get turned away. Please be better safe than sorry, and don't be scared to call us.
Every photograph, a picture, screenshot that's sent to us on the page asking, if this can be Allie, we look at every single one of them. I was sent some last night, and unfortunately, it wasn't Allie.
But we thank you for the picture.
Yes, thank you, absolutely.
Because there's no way of knowing. If you suspect. So don't ever, and there's a lot of people, not we're talking about, they always say they're sorry for sending a photo. Don't be sorry. Yeah. I know Joanna is, and I don't want to talk for you, but no, send it. If you think, then, send it. Because that's how, throughout history that somebody's recognized a photo, that's how they're found, is, they send a photo, or maybe, hey, you remember some strange girl you talked to, 2 years ago, and you're thinking, well, maybe. Well, I can assure you there's a way to track these people down, even if you think you have little information. You probably have, it's just anything. Like I said, any and everything. That's what we take, and that's what, just any suspicion, go off your gut feeling, and please, turn it in. Because, a lot of times I've found it's not Allie, but it's another girl that needs help. Because human trafficking is rampant in this country, or, or it goes along with another case. So either way, that, go with your gut instinct that something's wrong and somebody needs help, and we're there to overturn it, and just better safe than sorry. And thank you all for helping, and share Allie's flyer, share it a lot. And so that because that's how people are gonna see her.
Yeah. And we do appreciate everything that you guys do for us as well. Every story and every breakdown that I post on the page, I know it's probably annoying to some people, but, for me, it's just like, you guys are now a part of this, and, the more people we reach, you know, the better chances are that we can find Allie, find that right person that knows what happened to her.
Exactly. And so, and the more chances are that we're going to actually get help from the law enforcement side. I mean, you know, very possibly on this email address that can open up the doors to bring her home. And it's Yahoo in 2010 was a different format than now, so we can't just hack it, because I just thought about that, you know, people are going to have to, oh, just, you know, hack it. Trust me, I did all the hacking with Kid. That's how we got the information we have now. Not hacking, I had legal permission from her parents, but it's, you know, they changed formats. It was 2012, I believe. I could have that date a little wrong, but, you know, bottom line, it was different from what it was in 2010, and I didn't find this information until 2014, because it was a different email address that we didn't know about. And I, you know, when I first come onto this case, we were, you know, working up the Ohio leads and stuff like that, and so it was actually random. Just one night, I decided to start something different, and decided to come into her room that we're in right now, and really like go through absolutely everything. That's kind of that night's the night that I found it. You know, I guess God opens doors at perfect timing, you know, when they need to show, and that's what happened. So anyways, the more y'all look, the better chances law enforcement will go, and they have the equipment, the ability to reverse check this, find, you know, where it come from, an exact location. I had to, you know, I'm just going to say it, I had to pretend like I was Allie, and when I, you know, contacting law enforcement and to get that login history, because she's technically an adult now, and even though Joanne owns it and she's a child, people don't understand missing persons, and, you know, email data is, you know, pretty secure, and it's kept on offshore servers. So anyways, it still exists though, the files from that time. So I mean, it could solve this case. The more you share Allie's flyers and request justice from the police department, and the more heat that they, I mean, not only heat, just that, hey, you know, us as a community, we want this child found, because we want others found, you know, that better chances that we have of finding her and bringing Allie home and bringing our family closure. So
yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, if you know, whoever did whatever to Allie, you know, what's to say they haven't continued to do this for the past 8 years?
And chances are they probably have.
Yeah, how many other kids have they taken? How many other young, you know, young adults, teens, children, you know, have they taken advantage of and harmed? So, you know, all these other people.
And they will continue to do it until they're stopped.
Yeah, all these other people that go missing in our area, who's to say it's not the same people doing it?
Exactly. So, you know, but someone knows something. That's what I always say, and it's time to come forward, you know, if you do. We always have open ears to listen to whatever you have to say, and maybe you know information and you think that, oh, it's irrelevant, or maybe it's not what I thought, or so-and-so said this, or you heard a rumor that just didn't sit well with you. You know, maybe you heard a rumor, you were a Spring High School student at the time, and you heard a rumor, and it around the time Allie went missing. And if you still remember it now, and you took a second thought about it, trust your gut and give us a call. And if you can't get a hold of the police department, like Joanne said, you know, send the page a message, or, you know, call in the numbers on the things, or we get email addresses, I mean, you name it. Mm-hmm. I promise you, we're pretty accessible. So, just, you know, it's time to come forward and get it off. You've never, I mean, I can't tell you how many cases that I've had that it was the smallest information or comment that solved the case. And that's what's going to happen here. That's what it's going to take, is that, you know, it was just the right thing, that a light bulb went off, and, you know, that little bit of information that somebody thought was nothing, but it was definitely something. So, yeah, definitely come forward, and we appreciate all of you. I'll leave it to Joanne.
So I think we're pretty much done. You know, I just, you know, want to leave everybody with just saying that, you know, hug your kids a little tighter, and, you know, tell them you love them every day, because you never know when that's going to be your last day and you'll never see them again.
And that's true. You may be the one sitting in your kid's room. It's unchanged. I call it Allie's museum. Because that is really, by the way, that guys, this is really her writing. Like, this is her wall. Like, she had a black, white wall and had a bunch of, you know, the one behind us, you know, stuff behind it. And, you know, she was a real kid, and it sucks to, I mean, it's hard even for me to sit in here. I can't imagine Joanne, but, you know, she was an amazing kid, as you can see, and like I said, it's just, she was like your kid, not just an amazing kid, she was your kid, like literally. So hopefully it brings some, you know, yeah, I guess humanizes her a little bit. A lot of times it's hard flyers to humanize, but yeah, she was a real child, and so we need your help finding her. And thank you. Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to ramble. How'd I do it?